Hello, and welcome back to Doug Talks. This time, brought to you in my basement, at my parents' house, with a friend I haven't seen enough, but has been around long enough that I know is very talented, though I didn't know he was a drummer, Joe Billy.
Hey, how's it going?
Joe had a show last night. He played in Brooklyn. Met a lot of cool people, he said, right?
Yeah, it was loads of fun. It was at this place called The Hideout. I've never been there before, but it was loads of fun, yeah.
And then he managed to come over to my abode and start this wonderful podcast we have called Doug Talks.
Let's do this. I'm gonna get real comfy.
Yeah. So, who am I, which is to you.
Oh. Who are you to
which
me,
is
or
which is who am I?
Who are you?
No, who are you?
Who am I? Okay.
Yeah.
So my name is Joe Billy.
Yeah.
I'm a drummer and singer-songwriter from New Jersey. I play acoustic punk for my solo project, which is just called Joe Billy. I also have a full band, Joe Billy Collective, which is more of a live thing. And I drum pretty much anywhere where I'm needed. Yeah.
Awesome. If you had to answer that question in the type of like what is my purpose? Like, what's my identity? How would you answer that?
I've always liked to resonate with the phrase bringing people together through music.
Yeah.
Because I've always... am I too far away if I'm over here?
No, I mean, you just speak as loud as you can.
Because sometimes I talk quietly.
Yeah.
Ever since I started playing music, it was just because I loved it. But then when I started writing music, I always felt like I had this purpose to write music, to reach people in some way, or get some sort of message across, or at the very least just open things up for like a conversation of some kind, of stuff that I would feel like people need to think about or talk about, or think about themselves or something around them, or some sort of issue that's going on. And so I every show I try to make people feel as welcome as possible. And most of the songs that I write are very introspective and open-minded.
Politically charged, some?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
More so from the standpoint of not that I think I know everything and that I'm pushing my opinions on people.
But like you said, it's some things that you need to know.
Yeah, and if you really dive into the lyrics of any of my political songs, or most of my songs in general, they're very inquiry based. Because there's a lot of question phrases in a lot of my songs, and just proposing that you think about something in a different way, or at least become aware of a certain situation, habit, or whatever. What,
as this entails to you, right, your identity, that would make you a thought provoker, honestly, like a philosopher. Yeah. I guess I don't want to say what you're not, but a musician at the very, that's obvious. Mm-hmm. What other traits? I mean, just I think a real human, those are all just factors of identity that I think comes to surface when you think about the music that you have and who you are.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
No, thought-provoking is actually in my bio a lot nowadays too.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Absolutely.
There you go.
Very existential, angsty, thought-provoking.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's why we're here, right? We both love the question. I think, there's a lot that can be said from saying the same question but getting different people to answer it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why this succession, I actually didn't tell you yet, but and anybody yet, so listen up. But Doug Talks is probably going to go to once a month at least. And I have reached out to a lot of people. I've done some, cold calls basically. And we'll have more content coming soon.
Nice.
But yeah, and Joe Billy here is part of that dream plan, making it happen.
I'm honored to be it.
Yeah.
To be here.
So, in other words, how would you describe what death is? No, we were happy, but I wanted to make it sad, Or it doesn't have to be sad. No. Yeah.
It's really just
flip the question.
Just a thought. For where I'm at now, I tend to lean more towards death as a state of transition.
Okay.
And so like that can be in a lot of different ways. Like you can think about in like a smaller type of way, like the death of a relationship between someone else is just that part of your life ending and moving on to something else, or like the death of like who you once were, holding you back from moving towards the future or something.
It's very ego and metaphorical.
Yeah, like ego death.
Yeah,
that a lot of people like to use. So like I think about anything that can be considered having a death in the same way. Like obviously I don't know anything, none of us really do, but
what does it mean to you when your heart stops beating?
Right, so that's kind of where I'm getting at, is that while I've heard a lot of different takes on what happens when you die and stuff, I would like to believe or not be surprised if when you die, your consciousness moves on to just a different plane or something, and then your body does what it does.
I wish I had buzzer sounds, because this is the number one answer everybody says. Instead of a heaven, most of the people that I'm asking this question to that I remember are saying they want to be some form of reincarnation. And a movement in a progression, like a consciousness movement.
The more that I have read over the years and pondered and meditated and stuff, and it just kind of makes sense,
Yeah.
Because
well, don't get me wrong. There's people I have had on Doug Talks that talk just explicitly about heaven and the idea of heaven.
Yeah.
But I think it is a very fascinating amount of people on here so far that have said they want to just kind of like you said, consciously move from one thing to the other. And so I bear the question, does that mean you would be another human, or would you be like an animal or insect, or is it just more of particles,
Yeah, so me and some friends were getting into this a while ago, and so I get two parts that I want to say, because I started kind of resonating with what's the word, accepting the resonating with the fact that energy can neither be created or destroyed, it can only be transferred.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you apply that to everything, then that's kind of where this mentality comes from, right? And so again, I don't really have a set belief, because I have gotten to the point where if there's a question that can't be answered in my current reality, then I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself to try to
figure it out. Yeah.
And so like whatever it is, and whatever it is will be and stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess like where I've gotten to, I like to subscribe. That's the word I was looking for. Subscribe to more of a like heaven and hell is what you make it, and they're not like destinations.
Mm-hmm.
And so like a lot, I forget what cultures presented this, but they suggested that hell would be a cycle of reincarnation, right?
Oh.
So like if you didn't reach like enlightenment or whatever, or like you're for some reason your consciousness is not ready to move on to like the next state of existence or whatever, then you would come back as
and do it again.
Something else, and just keep working on yourself type of thing. And I guess that kind of ties into like the possibility of those like past lives and stuff.
Ancestry
stuff like that. Like again, not that
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Sure, something like that. And again, it's just been very interesting to me. It's not like I hold this as a very stern belief or anything. But it's been very interesting for me to think about. And
for sure.
Like I said, mainly based off of the concept of energy not being able to be destroyed or created.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just like take that down a rabbit hole.
Right. And I agree with that sentiment. Like there's nothing I've ever seen that says that energy can change like that. Right. And I also think though it's like much more literal in the sense that it's like my ashes, or not my ashes, if I was a skeleton, eventually I'll decompose and grow hopefully into grass or a tree or something like that. That kind of is like where the energy goes. And then it recreates, life, and it gives oxygen to people and whatever,
So as opposed to like a consciousness of any kind, you think it all stays within the body but transfers its energy like
it's just like a cycle, and it's weird how I think it doesn't necessarily move. Like the spirituality can move maybe, but like if you're thinking like it somehow to take that out, like take the human essence out, and you just like that Breaking Bad episode where they decompress like what a human's made of.
Yeah.
Remember that when he's like melting the guy with the acid or whatever?
Yeah.
And but then they like the percentage that they get to is only like 98%, and they can't account for that like 2% that's like the human heart or whatever, or the soul. If you just get down to the bare things, like it is minerals and elements and just when you go through the process, unless you get like cremated or something else, like people are becoming like trees on purpose.
Yeah.
Then they're getting seeds planted, and I've seen that online, and like that kind of just like, like eventually I'm going to be something else. And I think the idea of like giving air to people in that sense of being or something beautiful, like scenery, is also just like life on its own, like it's like life looking back in a different way.
Oh, absolutely. Ever since I started hearing about that, I totally want to do that. But
yeah, no, I was going to sign up for, I don't know where to go.
Do something useful that's good for the earth with my body.
Right, for sure.
Like it's not like it will
no more plastic straws.
It will become beautiful, obviously, but it's also like actually beneficial to the earth.
Yeah,
which is awesome to me.
This is a little off existentialism. I guess it could be, but I'm curious. Like, do you think we're past the point of return with like the environment?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay.
I'm not a scientist or anything.
Yeah.
But I tend to listen to scientists, and most of them say yes.
Yeah, it's just fucked, right? Like there's no matter how much we do, no matter like how soggy our straws get and our drinks, it's not gonna bring back.
Well, yeah,
the ozone.
The argument is that like you could, like I think the most that we could do if
like
everyone was actually on board with doing that, which would never happen. Then we can like slow the process, to some degree, but we've gotten to a pretty fucked up point.
Yeah.
You know, and so like it's just gonna keep.
So it's
like I feel it here in New Jersey all the time.
Yeah, I mean, people. There's nobody I think listening out of state for this, but if you are, it's based in New Jersey, and people complain about our like stink in the air. And then I've gone to other states, and it's just like, wow, I can breathe better here. Well, you know, like
yeah. But it's also just like the way the seasons continuously evolve year after year.
Yeah,
like,
and it hasn't like snowed or anything.
I remember a time where like the months actually lined up to the seasons that we thought they did.
Yeah,
and like during the winter it snowed. During the summer, it was hot, and then it would rain in between.
You sound like it's that meme that's like, "Oh, sure, granddad, like, let's get you back to bed."
Exactly. Like 10 years ago, like, there were a section of months where it was cold and it snowed.
Yeah,
and now it's just like, oh, it's spring in February.
Yeah,
and like,
forever.
It doesn't like, especially here. I don't know if you've ever thought this, but like it doesn't fucking snow anymore.
It doesn't.
I've
been like happy about that just because
I do hate the winter. I hate the snow,
the snow.
But I also hate cold rain.
Yeah,
and so like if it does, it'll flurry for like 5 minutes and then rain.
Yeah,
and that's it.
It's crazy. And I always think like if it's hail or something like. I'm like thinking of the one day when it's going to be like acid rain, like
which is honestly not too far off.
Yeah,
from what happened in Ohio, right?
Oh yeah, well that's a good connection. My friend Mike lives in Ohio, but he's on like the other side of Ohio.
I got some friends over there too, and I was like reaching out to them, like apparently everything's okay as of now, but like for people who actually depend on like the nature's water supply, or just the fact that like all that shit got evaporated into the air.
Yeah, no, the ozone,
that's just gonna come back down eventually.
Like, well, but like it's everything. There's just so much like it's so reckless, and I think the weird part is that like people that have power or like knowledge, like figured that out a while ago, and they were just like, we're gonna keep doing this because we're going to die. Like it's never gonna like get like unless there's this resounding like union of people, like it's a miracle in a sense, like something extraordinary has to happen for it to work or for us to move or colonize something else, like what's going to be on Mars, Mars is a stupid idea. Like there's nothing there. Like this is what we got. And I feel like we're wasting it. Like
one of the first songs I ever wrote was about that, about how like we got nowhere else to go.
Yeah,
but is that like why, like NASA and scientists want to like find new homes is because they know we're fucked here. Not just because we wanna.
Yeah, but or like because it's like a spirit of adventure.
Because they know that this is done soon.
Been playing Mass Effect, like again.
Oh yeah, I haven't played that before.
Oh yeah, well it's just like an alien game. Like these giant AI machines come and blow shit up, basically, and you're just a commander against like this thing. But
I played Fallout,
it's just like it's like an apocalyptic like sci-fi thing. But
how possible it is crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, we need to find that Prothean beacon or whatever, like that jump gate to get into the next galaxy, like ASAP. I'm ready to get abducted, like
at this point.
Yeah, or go cyborg.
That's so fascinating too. How, like, at least how many people nowadays are so just like welcoming and opening and accepting of the fact of like meeting aliens.
Oh yeah,
like
I think alien like
it would probably be scary to some extent, but like
definitely.
So many of us are just like, please, just like give us something else.
Yeah, wait, hope. Like
either
save us,
either kill us, kidnap us, or save us. Like
I hope neither of the first. I hope they're just really nice.
But some of us are just like any of those are fine at this point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If I know other life exists. It's just far away, I really think
it would be really hard to believe if it
because the possibility, like our possibility of being organic and having consciousness is like, when you do whatever crazy calculation that is, it's probably pretty slim in the whole galaxy, in the whole universe, right? But it happened, so why can't it happen again?
Especially given the fact that like they're constantly like changing or like they're constantly finding more reasons to think that the universe is bigger and longer and older than they previously thought, which was already astronomical. Right. But now it's even older than they thought. Like, wow. I guess there is some slim possibility that they're like that type of existence wouldn't be around at the same time as ours, but at some point, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's also like, what kind of life are you talking about? Are you talking about like sentient life like ours, or are you talking about any kind of life?
Yeah, like water, or like
water,
or
animals,
stuff, cells in water.
Maybe they don't have consciousness. Maybe they do. But like, it's ridiculous to think that that's not a possibility somewhere else.
Especially, and like even with the simulation stuff they do where they're like, well, we can create a galaxy. I'm like, all right, then like fix the Matrix, bro. Like, we didn't win, give me the world where it's perfect. But I think that talk about the expanding of the universe is actually a good segue to this next question, which would be, is there a God?
Oh, this kind of goes into a thought I had earlier talking about death and reincarnation and stuff. Is because, like, at least for me, where I've gotten to, I really like and tend to notice the similarities in comparing a lot of ideologies. Mm-hmm. And so, like, what one person can call God is what another person can call the universe.
Okay.
Or like source energy or something like that.
Yeah.
In the same way that, like, some people conceive heaven and hell while others conceive reincarnation and transition.
Yeah, like enlightenment.
So that's kind of my answer, if that's a good enough answer. It's kind of the same thing of like, I don't know this answer, so I'm not going to pressure myself into figuring it out type of thing. But I definitely feel something.
Like a spirituality?
Yeah. Like it's hard to argue that consciousness doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And so, like, the experiences that we have so much of the time that we've nowadays just grown very numb to, but like the interconnectedness of people and the earth and, everything that you can interact with is to me consciousness and like energy in general is kind of what I believe in.
Okay.
Like, so thinking of an old white dude in the sky that is like Santa isn't really doing it for anybody,
It's doing it for some people. They would love that to be real.
Well, they would love that. Yeah. They
Sorry, I guess I shared my opinion on it, but but it's just I don't know. I really don't know. I think personally, like, there is whatever created like the Big Bang and whatever happened is just out of the scope of what I think we can comprehend. And I think that is like, if there is a God, like there's been so many depictions of like a deity or in multiple gods, like why would there just be one? And like, and I think people really do have like a spirituality, and that's like undeniable. And I feel like I've even felt that in my life. Like I felt it. It's not all time, and it's usually very brief, but like playing music and just everything clicks, and it really lights up. I don't know if it's my endorphins and adrenaline and my hopes coming alive, but that kind of like nirvana feeling is like, it's almost like, I would say it would be godlike, right? You know, and
absolutely.
I think like if there are these moments, why wouldn't there be more, or, you know, less, I guess, if there's hell. Like it's just a possibility is the thing. I think people find the faith and they do a lot of crazy shit because they want people to believe. But I think if you just boil down some basic points of, like, you know, love each other and communicate, and you say that somebody sent that to you, that's fine. I just don't force it, you know? Like, that's my complaint, I would say.
I think that's more accurately where I've gotten to, is a very boiled down concept of spirituality where it makes sense to anybody.
Right. Yeah. There's no, like, argument, you know? Yeah, like, you would hope, not the serial killer.
Like, I've met plenty of crazy people. Yeah. But, yeah, it's just like, here's my experience and how I have experienced things, and my feeling, like my feeling of this energy and from the universe, and anything else that I can't really answer is just it is what it is. So a lot of people would probably tag that as pretty agnostic, which tracks for me, you know.
I used to
I would be fine with that.
Like, very agnostic. Like, I wanted not to be like spiritual at all and just believe in science and stuff. But I, like, these moments that have happened in my life that I've just, you know, was describing, I think was really other, you know, spiritual, worldly, or whatever.
Yeah. Well, while I sympathize a lot with atheists, you know, very hardcore atheists, like, that's also claiming that you know the answer, and like, I think it's impossible to know that type of answer.
That's a very good point. I agree with you. It's you know, I think people prey on the idea that, like, you have to know. I think it's scarier to not know, and fear is just something that humans don't like.
That's definitely the thing, right? Is that, like,
you want to feel comfortable, you know.
A big part of the human experience, and this is kind of like what I write about a lot too, is that, like, it's always a big part of the human experience is just trying to cling on to something of meaning. Like, finding meaning is the meaning in life to a lot of people. And so, like, if you're very desperate to find meaning in your life, you will grasp onto anything.
Right.
You know, that's why cults are so successful, because they prey on these people that are just so desperate and down and out, and they're in desperate need of something to make them feel like they have purpose, have a meaning, like belong somewhere, and like, and if you don't have that, then you find it on your own, and that basic feeling that you're connected to something. And that's honestly why I also got into music, is because it always made sense.
Right.
It was the only thing in my life that has ever 100% made sense.
Everything else, disagree that it makes sense all the time. I mean,
not in a critical way. Okay. In an emotional way.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Because I always think about what you're thinking about. I think. Yeah. Of, like, I don't understand music theory.
Like, I was gonna say, like, I've been listening to Black Midi. I'm like, what the fuck are these people doing?
Yeah, I don't mean that. Like, I mean in the way that, like, I always resonate with a song somehow.
Yeah, like
whenever I play music, it just feels good.
Yeah, and like, if you ever heard the song "Little Church" by Miles Davis,
no,
it's like a really weird. It's a whistler, him on trumpet, and it's like, I don't know if he has like a reverb pedal or something, but it's like around that, like, fusion kind of period, and off of Live Evil, so it's 81, I think, and it's just like really beautiful, but some of the notes are really dissonant and sour. But once you get through the progression, it's like a gospel song from the future. Like, it's really awesome. I personally recommend it. One of my favorites all time. I would say.
That's also something to say on the like the comparison between recordings that were recorded live and recorded like track by track. Right? You can let like someone like not really paying attention to how it feels can hear the same song, but the vibe, you know, to me vibe is just short for vibrations, which it is, and which is energy, right?
Yeah.
And so the vibe that you get, the energy that you get from a band playing at the same time together recording that is so much better than doing it track by track separately.
Yeah.
You know, it's tiny things like that that also go into my mentality.
Oh, for sure. I've always wanted to do things live and like
I haven't
real,
gotten to do that
you
yet.
know,
hoping to.
And I think you can get a lot out of just the rawness of things and the situation and everything, the emotion, you know, especially in like rock or like punk or everything. But to me, those are the ones that stand out, where it's a lot of like the attitude,
right? That,
you know,
that, like we were talking about. That's why I fell into punk so much.
Yeah,
is that like it was the way that I wanted to express myself.
Yeah,
like I've always loved all types of music, and I still do, and even more so nowadays. But punk music just like spoke to me. Yeah, and like it was the way that I was able to exert my energy and my emotions and express myself, and that everyone finds their own niche that way.
Yeah, I mean, I lost my shit when I heard Nirvana for the first time, and really like went into them when I started playing around like 17. It was Green Day, like System of a Down, like even like Fall Out Boy, like that was around my time, you know. And like I had a Groove Shark, which was like a knockoff of what was the downloading software, like
Napster,
or no, like the other one, yeah. I had like a knockoff of that, which was like internet radio, they called it, but you could download the songs. So I unfortunately did that, and like
I did that too.
Yeah, no, I had a playlist of System of a Down and Fall Out Boy from Under the Cork Tree, like go back and forth. It was so weird, but like I listened to that all the time.
And that's the cool thing about being a young music discoverer.
Yeah,
like you're not judging yourself, you just like this shit.
Yeah.
And I hate that nowadays, as a musician of 12 plus years now, I hear so I fall into it too, and I have more so in the past, like when I was a teenager, but just like judging myself or like critically thinking about how I feel of a song. That's silly. Yeah. Like if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. You know, like don't convince yourself that you do or don't like
other people want to put the label on it. You know, like it's like, oh, you know, you listen to Nirvana, you're emo or whatever. You know, like I got stupid shit from listening to like hard rock music or whatever.
Like anyone who also listens to like one genre of music. Is surprising to me. Yeah, or not music at all. I feel like I know people that's like also very weird to me.
Like barely listen to music. It's just like that, like the songs that make white people dance music. You know, like that playlist. Like
I have students that don't really listen to music. That's fascinating.
It's crazy. That's not right. Like you're in the wrong place, man.
You realize you're here to learn how to play music.
Like, you gotta try to expose them to something. Like that was what was cool in college, at least for me. Like at CCM, in particular, my professor Gordone, he was a crazy person, but every day we would listen to some other type of music. Like it was all usually jazz. But there was so many different, like, we'd be learning about, like, cumbia jazz and then, like, just, like, old time and swing and whatever, you know. There were so many, like, varieties and fusion, and that really cemented that I just wanted to play, you know, because I was like, there's just so much out there, and I could do it, you know, and like I can make my thing. I was in monitor at that time, and we were just about it. We were surrounded with it, and it was awesome, I think. And
yeah, that's how we met.
Yeah,
we played a show together. What was it, Somerset or something?
Yeah.
That Halloween show, and we played with monitor. That's where I met you guys.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It is crazy, man. It's been a wild ride. There's a lot that's changed. There's a lot that's the same.
I don't even remember like saying this, but like I remember running into one of my old teachers, who was like the best teacher for all of us in high school. She was awesome. But we ran into each other later down the line, and she was like, "I'm so glad that you're playing music, like as your thing, like you're doing it all the time, because all you would ever say in class in high school was, I just want to play music, like fuck all that shit.
Yeah,
I just want to play music." And I was like, I don't remember saying that, but I guess I was just like, that's really like how I felt about it, you know?
Yeah.
Glad that I eventually did it.
That's awesome, and I think anybody that is still doing it and wants to do it, like, should. And I hate to see, like, I have a friend I played in a band with that I see him selling all this shit on Facebook, and I saw him recently, and I was like, are you good, man? Like, you know, because it makes me worried. And, like, it makes me sad to see that, he doesn't want this gear or whatever. But he said he was just changing, like, instruments, so whatever. It was cool. But, yeah,
there's definitely, like, if you really just feel like you're moving on in a different point of your life,
that's fine.
Then that's fair.
But I always think that the power of music, like, even if you just barely do it sometimes, like, it's worth it.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll wrap up with one like example of existentialism, and I just want your like ideas on what you think.
Okay.
So, here we go. So, let's see. I use this one a lot. You are a soldier, and you've been told that you'll be considered a hero by people you're trying to help. Then you find out that they hate you, like, when you get there. Mm-hmm. So that gives you an existential, like, dilemma, right? What would you consider, like, the right thing to do?
That's a great question.
It's hard because there's the duty of, you know, you already are, like, you're a soldier in this scenario, and that's hard to even imagine for me. Like,
I like to believe that this is an easy answer, because I mean, I don't really think about this prompt, but like I've thought about concepts like this before, just because of, you know, stuff that I learn about.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I'm still the person that I am now, then I would. I mean, I wouldn't join the army.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think it's hard to like even put myself in this scenario,
because you're told stuff, you're told to do stuff, and you're not told the reason why, or at least the real reason why, very much of the time. And, like, you know, everyone in power just has their own agenda and their own master plan or whatever. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I very much respect anybody who believes that they put their life on the line to...
Because it is a weird,
help
like,
everyone that they
necessity.
Can. Because, I fully appreciate that and I support that. But it would be really hard for me to trust any people in power like that and being the pawn to do their dirty work.
Right. And
so I think if I was already in some sort of institution like that, and then starting to have these glass shattering realizations, then I would like walk away and
get a dishonorable discharge.
Yeah. I would figure something out to just get out.
Yeah.
Because
it's hard.
At that point, it's not about me or us. It's about us and the other people on the other side that we are told that we have to, like,
liberate or whatever.
Or kill.
Yeah.
Or, you know, it I don't know.
It's rough. I can see in your face you're like really thinking about it.
I think about this shit a lot.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it is hard to articulate into words sometimes.
Yeah. But, no, because there's a sense of responsibility and duty from the soldier, and there is an idea that you are serving a greater good, you know, but really from what you're saying, it's the other side of, like, there is evil in power, there is unjustifiable actions, you know, and commands that you're just expected to go through, and it scars the shit out of people in the army, you know, like PTSD and all that. It's not there's no solution. Like, I understand the necessity, but I wouldn't wish that it existed, you know, ever. Like, I don't know. It's a tough one, and I think it's a good thing to ask because it really highlights, like, at least your character, like someone's character. And I think you gave a great answer. I think all the answers we had today were pretty thought-provoking, at least.
For sure. I enjoy this kind of stuff.
Yeah. I think we'll call that a wrap.
All right.
You want to say any last words?
Am I allowed to plug myself?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if that's, like, the okay on this podcast. But yeah, I mean, if you want to check any of my shit out, you can go to joebillymusic.com. You can find all my music and shows and stuff. I just dropped a new album earlier this month. It's called Fissure. It's the best album I've ever released so far. It's really awesome. Had a bunch of friends on it too. If you really want to get existential and introspective and shit like that, then that's the album for you for sure.
Right on.
But yeah. It was a pleasure.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you on the next Doug Talks.